Hello, I'm Danilo, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about kings and queens in the Minor Arcana of the Tarot. I'm choosing to use the cards from the Mythical Creatures Tarot from Baba Studio as example because they are very different compared to traditional cards depictions, so you can watch them and kind of follow my reasoning without seeing the traditional um, characters, the traditional colors, symbology, and their position, their pose inside their card. So here we have the queens, here we have the kings, cups, coins, wands, swords, cups, coins, wands, swords. Now, how I see a queen is a manager, whether it is within herself or with a group, an established group of people, whether it is by whether it is like psychological or internal, as in inside us work or outside. I consider the queen as the master of the house, so she controls, yes, but she supervises, she gives advice, she helps and direct what's going on in the established environment, the core environment, the core group, whatever the case, the inside controller. I feel like that's the queen's energy. And in this case, it's represented particularly well by the Queen of Cups, which is Melusine. So, if you don't know the legend, she's a sorceress or a fae. She can transform into a dragon and has this semi-human form with her legs turning into tails or one singular tail. And basically, she meets a prince one day. It's the classic kind of fairy tale-ish love story. Prince meets a girl in the forest. She promises him sons and happiness and richness and everything, but there is one condition: he cannot watch her while she's bathing. He agrees, everything goes to plan, they marry, everything is happy, is good. She actually brings fortune and good luck to him. But then one day he sees her bathing and sees that her legs are these tails, like in this depiction, or one singular dragon tail. And when she finds out, she transforms into an actual dragon, flies away, and she's never seen again. So this need to be by herself, this need to take care of herself, and in return for this just one singular moment where she is by herself, she's allowed to be by herself and take care of herself. She brings happiness, she brings good luck. So that's really connected to me on to, to to how I see the queens. The Queen of Wands with I think it's described as a Chinese dragon in the guidebook. Watching it, I kind of see wings. They do not have those, so I'm going with Eastern, generic Eastern dragon. But to me, it's still a dragon, so again, I want to be by myself with my treasure, with my hoard. As an Eastern dragon, I see in her the teacher and advisor kind of figure. Do not see in a necessarily aggressive and malevolent version of the creature. Here with the Queen of Coins, we have I think it's a dryad, anyway, it's a dryad, a tree nymph. So she's a spirit of the forest, she brings life, she brings air, she is a spirit of nature, but once again, nymphs are known to wanting to be by themselves, and if you go bother them, they are going to transform into their elements, so you cannot touch them, you cannot talk to them, you are just talking to a tree or a rock or a stream of water. And here with the Queen of Swords, we have the Banshee, and that's a little bit more complicated. I feel like it is a little bit darker than how I see the Queen of Swords normally. But once again, we have a fey kind of spirit that is attached to a family but does not interact with them. She just cries and moans, warning of an impending death in that family. So again, the creature is a little bit focused on darker themes and darker times than I would like, but again, we have a solitary creature that helps a community or it's connected to a limited number of people. So again, for me, each and every one of these four cards is the manager of their own energy, of their own element. So the Queen of Wands is the one that keeps in order her passions and proceeds to follow them with order without disrupting anything or loses control of them and things get like in disarray. There is conflict depending on the positive or negative situation connotation in that specific reading. And if there is a group effort, the queen, I feel like it is the one that makes so that the group works toward a singular goal, works well together. So there is this connection to the making sure every part follows its follows into place, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, the kings to me, and we have a so this is a Vodyanoi, I feel like it's the word. It's a water spirit from Slavic mythology. We have a giant. We have a in the Queen of in King of Coins. We have a Jinn in the King of Wands and in a Griffin in the King of Swords. So to me, these are kind of right, let's say. So I can see what I usually feel from the kings in these cards, especially in the Jinn and the Giant. Maybe a little bit less in the Griffin, and honestly, I do not know enough of the stories connected to these creatures, the Vodyanoi to be. Is it Vodyanoi? One moment, I want to look into the little book here. But again, I don't know enough of his mythology to know for sure if it is what I usually see in that card. So okay, allora, so the Jinn is not the Jinn, it's the Ifrit. So it's a fiery Jinn. It's a fiery cousin to the classical Jinn, kind of. Why Vodyanoi? Yes, this is a Podianoi. So I would say I see these creatures as apt to my interpretation of the kings in the minors of the tarot. To me, kings are not part of the group. To me, they are a little bit separated. So while the queen works, if there is more, more people, she works at close contact with them. The king does his own thing, and the others learn or follow by their own will, but there's not a group effort. The king is by himself. You learn by observing, or he can give you an answer, he can give you an advice, but it's not going to take your hand and allow you to follow him step by step and learn in that way. That's the queen in my way of reading them. The king is in absolute control of his element. He does what he wants, and everything follows him or learns from him what's useful and then moves on. So the king is a more solitary person. It's a more subject focused, subject as in person focused individual. That's the word. Individual focus card. So the king is by himself, the queen is working within herself or with other people on the outside. Now, when it comes to an internal working for the king, unless it's in a negative situation, negative position, it means you are, the king represents you when you are completely at peace and in control and happy of the situation, of the specific part of your life that that king is representing. While if it's a reading talking about more people, again, it's the king is a solitary figure, maybe the central figure, and the others have to follow, but there is a disconnection, there is a like there is a limit to how much you can get close to him. And that's the major difference. Now, of course, if there is a situation where the reading is talking about a relationship between two people, of course, the king cannot be too much by himself, but he still maintains this meaning to me of like self-sufficiency. I think it's the word. So the person represented by the king has he's by themselves. Okay, even if it is a relationship, they know who they are, they know what they want, they are acting in the way they want to act, the way that makes them comfortable, and it's the other person that needs to catch up. Usually that's how I read them. Now, of course, all the other cards surrounding them can shape the reading and the meaning I associate to the chord cards in different ways. So this is a very generic talk about how I read the two of them, but again, to make it clear, the difference between the queen and the king for me is that the queen works within herself to get order of the element, and then with others to make sure that the group, that the family, that the inner circle works well together within that element. The king is already to the point where he's fine, his element has been balanced, he's completely in control and in full-on connection and contact with this element. He's good by himself, and he does what he wants to do consciously to keep nurturing his element, and the others, the other people follow him without his permission, but also without his collaboration. They watch him, they observe him, and they learn, and they do what he wants. Like, he is the king in that sense, not in a negative sense. This is a person in the right. This is a person who has figured it out, his element, his role within that element in his life. So the others follow because they realize they want to get to the same point. Now, that being said, I do not associate a specific gender to queens and kings. Like, yes, the queens are female represented usually and kings male, but the person that can be represented by one of the two can be either woman, man, or non-binary. So the cards are gendered for traditional purposes because masculine and feminine are two different energies and they deserve to be represented, but the real person, the real people that get the card, they oh my god, they get a card reading, they do not have to be a woman to be represented by a queen, a man to be represented by a king, and if they're non-binary or gender fluid or gender queer, then their cards are unreadable. They're like, that's not a thing. So, in conclusion, this is how I differentiate between the queens and the kings. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me. From now on, I'm going to do just one video per week. It's easier for me right now. I may get back to two, but we shall see. So this is of course the English video. Next week is going to be the Italian one. So until next time, bye bye. Please subscribe, leave me comments, like the videos, follow me on Instagram. Bye.